Hello to the all participants and panelists. I am happy for being part in this FBM E-National Conference 2021. The title of this article is Determinants of Customer Loyalty in the Malaysian Mobile Service Provider Industry, a Conceptual Perspective. I am Vidyamala binti Mohamad as the presenter and also the author. Before we go any further, here are the definitions of terms that the author used in this presentation. Almost 2 years ago, the first novel coronavirus was eventually identified in Wuhan, China. We never could have imagined that we have been locked down and our outdoor activities being controlled drastically by the government. This COVID-19 pandemic has changed businesses and lifestyles for 360 degrees. The pandemic has become the focal point of all interaction, compelling businesses and individuals to adopt digitalization more quickly than before. Ever since the Malaysian government introduced the Movement Control Order or MCO in 2019 and other series of lockdown, there has been an increase in the citizens' dependencies on internet access to facilitate works, education, and social interactions. This phenomenon matched and was noticeable with a lowering of 4G download speed. It has been reported that the subscriptions of MSP has increased by 5.34% in 2019 compared to 2017. Malaysian MSP industry has reached its saturation point where the penetration rate was at 131.9 per 100 inhabitants in 2018. This issue had increased the 47.5% of customer complaints received by MCMC in 2018 compared to the one received in 2017. The problem statement have three statements that related to each other. As the increase in subscriptions has increased in the customer complaints received by the MCMC, this matter is of a great concern as it will affect the level of loyalty among the subscribers. The tendency to switch is high in this industry. Most of the complaints received were the demand for the quality of the network coverage, and this matter will affect the Malaysian on attaining the United Nations SDGs 2030. Recently, the media has reported that many rural areas in Malaysia have experienced unstable network coverage. This matter has hindered specific population from going online and also have affected the Malaysian registration of vaccination. The MOH has obtained the registration manually just to surpass the program primary objective. Now we move on to the theoretical gaps. Most of the previous studies in this field were carried out in Malaysian MSP. However, there are still no studies that combine brand credibility and trust on customer loyalty. The gaps can be closed by examining the effect of the mediating variables on the relationship between independent variables and dependent variables. The strength of the relationship can be high or low, and it influences the customer loyalty level. The ultimate research question is, does trust mediate the relationship between brand credibility on customer loyalty? The ultimate objective of this research is to determine whether trust mediates the relationship between brand credibility on customer loyalty. Commitment trust theory. This theory has been developed by Morgan and Hunt, and this theory describes the mediating factor of trust and relationship commitment within the relationship marketing. The CTT says that two main factors, trust and commitment, must exist for a relationship to be established. As a result, customer trust these businesses and the mutual loyalty helps both parties fulfill their needs. Since there is a paradigm shift from customer acquisition to customer retention, customer loyalty becomes one of the most exciting research subjects. There has been an increasing interest in determining the determinants of customer loyalty in various settings such as MSP. Customer loyalty defined as customer commitment and refer to the strength of an individual's connection with a brand. This action involves in active participating, buying, and consuming a product or services. The process of customer loyalty started at the customer experience, and it also known as cognitive affective conditional pattern. True loyal customers are the customers who hold a positive attitude towards the MSP. Brand credibility is described as a brand credibility in producing or performing the products and services that have been promised. Brand reputation is derived from the credibility of source literature. There are three brand reputation components include trustworthiness, competence, and attractiveness. Brand credibility aims to clarify post-consumption pattern. It is therefore not surprising to see several studies linking brand credibility to future variables of response, such as intention to revisit, perception of risks, and behaviors of advocacy loyalty. Trust defined as psychological state composing the intention to accept vulnerability based on expectation of the intention or behavior of another. Long-term relationship has fostered because trust decreases misunderstanding and the risk of opportunistic action. Trust is considered crucial in the service context, as the heterogeneous and intangible characteristics of the services make it difficult to determine the select between competing suppliers. Trust is performed because of related experience with a firm. The past experience offers customers many opportunities to determine an organization's skill, kindness, and trustworthiness. The customer decision to either turn to another provider or continue with the current range will be based on their previous experience. Trust will gradually grow if the previous experience was good and resulting in customer retention. Research hypothesis. Hypothesis 1. There is a positive and direct, significant relationship between brand credibility and trust in the mobile service provider industry in Malaysia. Hypothesis 2. There is a positive and direct, significant relationship between trust and customer loyalty in the mobile service provider industry in Malaysia. This is the proposed conceptual model. For the conclusion, credibility is a fundamental factor for all sorts of settings, including people, organizations, products, or services. Trust is more on cognitive, rational component, more effective, and has emotional components toward firms in performing and generate confidence. At the same time, motivate customer to repurchase decision. Emotional component also helps customers to be loyal toward a brand. Therefore, this study will provide a platform for the industry to be more customer focused, establish better process flow to retain customers for the benefit of the mobile service providers. This data will aid managers in designing a long-term customer retention strategies, indicating where they should invest and allocate additional resources. That's all for now. Thank you very much.